Xbox showed everyone that they've had the answers all along. What's up, y'all? I'm Ray, and this is my channel, Xbox Ready, where we get on and we talk about Xbox stuff, the latest news, rumors, games, accessories, everything going on in the world of Xbox, because I want to make sure that you are Xbox ready. Now, just a few days ago, Xbox CEO Asha Sharma threw down the gauntlet. She said, listen, I heard that y'all have been talking shit, saying that we're gonna stop making Xbox consoles exit the hardware game. No. Not only are we going to keep making consoles, we're going to make this new one. It's called Project Helix right now. That's the code name. It's going to lead in performance. It's going to play all of your Xbox games, and it's going to play PC games. Not exactly shocking news, because those have been the rumors for months. The next Xbox is going to be like a PC console hybrid, where you can play Steam games and all sorts of other stuff. But this past Friday, Asha Sharma drew a line in the sand and took the first step in her commitment to return to Xbox. This was pretty surprising. I guess it shouldn't have been, because in her first interview, she said, hey, you know, we're gonna talk more about hardware, we're gonna reveal more stuff about that soon. I didn't expect it to be this soon. I've been begging for juicy Xbox news for days at this point, and then I finally got it. I'm like, whoa, this is all happening too fast. For all of the talk that Xbox is losing the console war, or they gave up, they admitted defeat, PlayStation ended up winning, Asha coming out and revealing Project Helix, and PlayStation doubling down on their exclusives, no longer putting them on PC. Even though there's no more console war, it kind of feels like that energy is brewing up again. PlayStation is doubling down on exclusives, and Xbox is doubling down on their strategy to blur the lines between console and PC gaming. This is an awesome move on Xbox's part, because Project Helix, even though we know nothing about it, the concept is something that doesn't exist right now. And I know what you're gonna say, oh, it's a PC, it's a gaming PC, just build your own, buy a pre-built, it's gonna be the same thing, except it's not. As we've talked about in previous videos, you can do that and play most of Xbox's library, especially all the new games that they're coming out with. But it still won't be able to do the one thing that Project Helix is gonna do: play console games. Yes, a PC and a console like the Xbox Series X or the PlayStation 5. They're both things that can play video games, but they are fundamentally different technologies. That's why developers have to make a whole ass separate version of their game if they want to put it on PC, even though they already put on all the work to make a console version. You cannot play a console version of a game on a PC, and you can't play a PC version of a game on a console. That's how it's always been. But here we have Xbox, the new CEO, going on her Twitter and saying, we have a device codenamed Project Helix that can do both. Up until this point, I was under the impression that the teams at Microsoft, at Xbox, at Windows, they were all still trying to figure out how to make something like this happen. Not only from a software perspective, but through the hardware too. Just the other day, we were talking about how they were targeting 2027 as the release year for this thing, because that was the best case scenario for them figuring out how to, well, like what the new dashboard is going to look like, how this thing is going to work. Other critics have said, oh yeah, Microsoft is playing a lot of catch up here, the full screen experience, the Xbox Ally X, it seems rushed, it seems last minute as a last desperate attempt to compete against SteamOS and the Steam Deck. With the reveal of Project Helix, it might be time to start taking Xbox and any new hardware that they put out a lot more seriously, because Asha Sharma would not have revealed this thing if they didn't already figure it out. A way to play console games and PC games natively on the same box. With Project Helix, they're addressing one of the biggest complaints about the Xbox Ally X, its inability to play native Xbox games, or the console versions. You have to stream them. And that was a big frustration for me. I'm like, oh, I own all of these games on my Xbox account. I would love to play them on the go, but oh, they're not available through the Xbox PC app, so I'd have to rebuy them through Steam or another launcher. How exactly the whole thing's gonna work, we're still not really sure, even though Xbox, Microsoft, they may know the answers. Your buddy Ray does not, unfortunately. But Asha did say that more details were coming next week during the Game Developers Conference, which your boy Ray will be at. And already there's a debate on, okay, what is their definition of running Xbox games natively? Specifically, are they going to go the emulation route and call it a day? Sneakers OS, who was right like one time about the Xbox multi-platform stuff, said this is basically a PC that uses the Windows full screen experience that we just saw on the Xbox Ally X to emulate a console experience. The native Xbox SKU that had an updated build target that developers were playing games for, that's going away. There's no Xbox Helix build target. It's just a UWP rebuild. You're just shipping a game for Windows Store, so you still have access to your Xbox library thanks to BC emulation, but as far as having a native Xbox console SKU you built your game towards, that's done. And already some people are already pointing out, because like UWP isn't really a thing anymore, the Xbox Series X and S use a different kind of technology, so it could theoretically work with a different translation layer natively. As far as older games though, like the Xbox 360 and older, those may or may not have to be emulated. Project Helix not having a specific target for developers to aim for though, that kind of makes sense. Like they make their game for Windows, it's a PC version of the games. That all makes sense to me, but again, no one's really sure how it's gonna work. That doesn't mean that Series X and S console games are just gonna disappear. Developers are still gonna work on them. You won't have to immediately upgrade if you don't want to. If you want to stick around, they're probably gonna support the Series X and S for years to come. All of this is great news, but there's one massive red flag that I know everyone is worried about. Xbox can make this super fancy console, but super fancy usually means super expensive. And if the Xbox Ally X was $1,000, then who's to say that Project Helix isn't going to be at least that, if not even more? Xbox currently has a messaging problem too that they're going to have to deal with, thanks to the whole "this is an Xbox" thing. I don't know really anyone that thought that that was a good idea, genuinely. At first I was like, this is whack, and I slowly came around to it, at least the idea, because I knew what they were talking about. I knew what they were saying. It meant that you could play Xbox games anywhere, your data will travel seamlessly through all the different stuff. I knew that as someone who knows Xbox covers it all the time, but you have to assume that people are dumb, man. Like, you've spent the past 20, almost 25 years training people to think that an Xbox is just that, a box, a console that you put under a TV and you play video games on. Then you make a whole marketing campaign centered around the fact that no, that's not an Xbox, this is an Xbox. Project Helix needs to have clearer messaging. That has the potential to cause a lot of confusion too. Is this a console? Is this an Xbox? Is this a gaming PC? What's going on? And just talking through that, there's also this danger where, okay, what are they going to focus on here? Are they going to focus more on the PC side of things to appeal to that side of the gaming fandom? Will they neglect the console experience? Will it be super different and off-putting to the hardcore fans that have been around for years? The rumor is that Project Helix is going to operate pretty much the same as the Xbox Ally X, where you have the full screen experience or the Xbox app, and if you want to, you can boot out into Windows. That might be the easiest way for them to go, especially since they've already been doing all the work since the Allies have launched. But part of me kind of wants them to say, screw it. Screw the Windows stuff. Keep Windows. I mean, that's what it's going to be running on, obviously. But if I was them, I wouldn't even mention Windows. I would just say, this is Xbox. It could play PC games, but you don't have to mess with Windows at all. Keep Windows out of it. It's all going to come down to messaging, and already as a fan, I'm more confident that that's going to be handled better under Asha. I'm curious to see if they'll do away with the whole "this is an Xbox" thing entirely. I don't know how you would twist that though. Like, oh, an Xbox is something that can play pretty much any game that you want, minus PlayStation and Nintendo exclusives. It can play Xbox games, it can play PC games, but how does cloud and PC gaming fit into that? That's all part of the ecosystem now too. Someone has to figure it out and make it as straightforward, as simple as possible, no more confusion. I know that's a lot to ask, like this is the same company that said, oh, let's make an Xbox Series X and S right after we made an Xbox One X and One S. There could potentially be a lot of changes to the current Xbox strategy, or at least that's what I'm hoping for. It could be more or less the same shit that they've been doing over the past few months. There was this one rumor blowing up saying that Satya Nadella, he held this all-hands meeting with the Xbox team. He was wearing this Xbox hoodie, and allegedly he said that Asha basically had a blank check from Microsoft to do anything she wanted as long as it made people care about Xbox again. I don't know how that could possibly be true, because from my understanding, any CEO, anyone who worked at Xbox, it didn't matter what they wanted, they had to ultimately do what Microsoft said, even if that meant closing down studios, giving away their exclusive games, pretty much all the things that hardcore fans have hated over the past few years. I was like, okay, that sounds pretty interesting if it turns out to be true, but then maybe 2 seconds later, someone came out from the Microsoft team and was like, nah, that shit was not said. That's kind of a weird thing to clarify, like the one thing that potentially could have made Satya Nadella likable in the eyes of Xbox fans. They were like, no, you would never say that. that. He did say, though, oh yeah, we will always invest in gaming. We're long on gaming, we'll continue to invest, we'll always do so. Obviously, they're going to continue to invest in their gaming division. It makes billions of dollars a year, but what is that investment going to look like? What are the strings that are going to be attached to this money? Other people are saying that Asha basically has to go through with the launch of Project Helix because they've already invested so much into research and development. It's such an up and down ride because on one end, I liked Asha's confidence when she revealed Project Helix. On the other end, there's all these other rumors stirring and I don't know what to believe. There's a lot of moving parts to these stories, the new CEO, the new Xbox. So to wrap up this video, I wanted to talk about something that you may have missed amidst all this craziness. I'm talking about the big update that Xbox dropped this past February. Now, back in October, when Xbox decided to restructure Game Pass, including raising the price of Ultimate, they were like, yeah, this is totally fair because we're adding in more value for subscribers, including Fortnite crew, and also, get this, cloud gaming no longer in beta, baby. After years, we're dropping the beta tag. What does that mean? Well, Game Pass Ultimate subscribers, you got shorter wait times in order to stream your games, and you also get higher quality streams. You can stream at 1440p, and you can get higher bit rates. Overall, it's just a better experience. I ended up checking it out myself, and I can confirm, overall better experience, especially with the controller responsiveness, the visuals, the overall stability. The only problem was, and this is the frustrating thing about the Xbox ecosystem, is that it wasn't available everywhere. It was available most places where you can stream Xbox games, but noticeably, it was not available on Xbox consoles. This past update just fixed that. Everything that I was just describing, 1440p resolution, higher bit rates, that's coming on over to console as well. And when I say consoles, I mean all Xbox consoles, not just the Series X and S, but also the Xbox One, One X, One S. Previously on consoles, when you streamed a game, it was capped at 1080p. This is massive news for anyone who's still rocking with an Xbox One. And I know that there are a few of y'all watching this channel because y'all send me messages, you send me pictures of your consoles all the time, and a lot of them are Xbox Ones. Yes, on your old ass Xbox One, you can play all the current gen Xbox games, a lot of the first party ones, they ditched the previous gen a while ago, and you can play them at the same resolution that you would get on an Xbox Series S. It's kind of cool that this exists at all, and I know a lot of people have a lot of mixed feelings about cloud gaming and Xbox's investment in it. I get that, but it is kind of cool that it's giving Xbox One owners, people who have these older consoles, a chance to keep up with Xbox's latest games without having to spend hundreds of dollars on a new console. You know, it'd be a lot cooler though is if Game Pass Ultimate was still $20 a month, not $30. And in this day and age, the year 2026, where everyone is asking, why should I buy an Xbox Series X or S? This is ironically yet another reason why, even if you own an Xbox One, you're entrenched in the Xbox ecosystem, probably built up a huge digital library over the years. Even those guys don't have a reason to upgrade to the new generation because they can just stream their games. Now, of course, the number one reason to upgrade from an Xbox One to a Series X or S, native gaming is always going to be better than cloud streaming. No matter the resolution, no matter the latency, like it's always going to be better playing natively on a Series X or S. But also in 2026, the Series X and S are a lot more expensive than they were even just a few years ago. If you're an Xbox One owner and you're thinking about going to Best Buy and buying a Series X, it's $650. So you can either drop almost $700 on a Series X to play all the current Xbox games natively, or if you didn't want to do that, you just subscribe to Game Pass Ultimate, you could play for almost 2 years, 21 months, until you got to that 650 number that you would spend on a Series X. And that's not even including buying the games, maybe even subscribing to Ultimate once you had that new console. Of course, there are some other benefits to this. If you're streaming a game through your console, chances are you're still playing on your TV. 1440p, that enhanced bitrate, gonna look a lot better on a bigger screen than what we were working with previously. This was long overdue, especially since they dropped the beta tag in cloud gaming. And along with some other improvements like the new dashboard that they've been working on, we're seeing some good stuff, some good progress being made by Xbox and with cloud gaming. We're also getting some updates to the Xbox Ally handhelds. Anyways, guys, that's all the Xbox stuff I gotta talk about today. Thanks so much for joining me for another edition of Xbox Ready. If you made it this far into the video, consider subscribing. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.